Hello, entrepreneurial minds. You know what day it is. It is time for us to journey to more. Now, if you think that you have a message that you want to take over the world, whether it is in writing, whether it is in video form, whether it is speaking on stages, you want to stay tuned to this episode because we have the queen of messaging here. And you all know this is the only place for entrepreneurial minds where we're going to actually become really wealthy, but we're going to do it in a healthy way, right? We're not going to have money and unhappiness. We're going to have it all. And so you all know me. I am Attorney Jamila Moore. I help you start and structure and grow your business the right way and help you protect and grow your profits, your brand, and business through trademarks, contracts, copyrights, and legal compliance. Now, today I have a special guest here. Her name is Krista Jennings. Now, not only does she help business leaders, world changers, creatives take their message across the world, she also helps them build out high converting sales funnels. Somebody's like, what is a sales funnel? Pause. Stay with us, and you're going to be able to know all of these things. Krista, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me, Jamila.
I'm so excited for you to be here. You know, one of the things that I think people who are in the entrepreneurial space, the side hustle space, they don't really understand messaging and funnels and things of that nature. So to have someone with your caliber here is really important for this community. But I want to start this off by really understanding, how did you get started in entrepreneurship?
Well, it's nothing groundbreaking, but ultimately what happened was I got laid off from my last full-time job, and I knew at that point that I wanted to do something that was impactful, something that was more or less on my terms. And I've always been interested in business and supporting different organizations. So that's kind of where it birthed. And then here I am, 10 years later. But of course, in the midst of all of that, I pivoted. So what I started doing is not exactly what I'm doing right now. And it's important for people to note that like what you start doing doesn't mean that's the thing that you're going to be married to forever. And that's okay as well.
So talk to us about, what did you start off doing?
So I was supporting small business owners, a lot of people who were like solopreneurs, wanting to look. They were looking to create more structure in their business, so they wanted more. They wanted more systems and processes, and I was helping them kind of navigate that process and building out like their standard operating procedures and helping them to understand like where it is that they are in their business and where it is that they ultimately wanted to go. And then also in the midst of that, I discovered and figured out that I really liked marketing. And then that's kind of how I went on that pathway.
Well, I will say it is not uncommon an uncommon pathway. I think about my own journey, and I really was starting off like helping people build out courses and things of that nature. And the starting the business stuff was kind of like a side burner, and the legal stuff was like only if you knew. And I had to have like a little punch from the Holy Spirit. Like, you will use all of the gifts that I put down on the inside of you in the way that I designed them to be used. And so that's how I kind of like got along in my journey. But one of the things that I will say is the reason why I started the consulting side of my business is so that people can actually get started with the thing that's going to be the real market solution. Because it's important, because we do have a lot of time, but we don't want to waste time. And we know that nothing is lost. However, if we can start right, we can then build right and then have less terms. It's so interesting because, in this space, we hear about so many people who are, I'm at my 7-figure mark, or I'm trying to get to 7 figures. And I read a post yesterday and I was like, this is it. And it was a transparent post where the business owner was like, you saw me up there getting my 7-figure award, but I didn't make 7 figures. Like, my revenue was 7 figures, but my profit margin was 130,000. That is a huge gap. So kind of like talk to me about like how it is that you went about like getting your business to a place of like, okay, these are the things that are like good business practices, and this is how I got into the lane of like really dealing with these sales funnels.
Yeah, and it's a good question. I mean, I think at the foundation of it all, it's important to have a strategy, right? So a lot of times people are navigating these entrepreneurial streets just like, okay, I'm just gonna freelance this, right? I'm just gonna see what's going to work. I'm just gonna throw a bunch of things against the wall and hope for something to stick. And it's very important for you to build from a place of direction and build out your marketing strategy, build out your strategy for growing your business, build out your strategy for you to know exactly where it is that you want to go, and use that as like your guidance, right? And then actually implement the things that you say you want to do in your marketing strategy, and do those things and track those things. I strongly believe that whatever it is that you track, you can actually improve upon. So it's very important for you to track things. Like I can't stress the importance of tracking things. So that's definitely a really good place to start.
That is amazing. It's like the thing that I say, like, data is your best friend as a
It
business
is.
owner, because sometimes you'll live in a place of like false failure. And so I was explaining to people on a webinar, I think I had 7 people on a webinar, but then I told them I had about 30 people sign up. I promoted it for about a week. And then because I knew the number around industry standard, I was like, look how many people showed up compare, like I actually like beat industry standard. And I was like, and then even if just one of you all purchase, I've still beat industry standard. And I think sometimes it could be discouraging for newer entrepreneurs to actually go out there and get started in that way, or feel like they can keep going because they're looking at someone else's success. And so, as you've been 10 years, right?
Yeah.
10 years, a decade of experience, how have you kept yourself from like the comparison rat race and things of that
Um,
nature?
I believe faith has a lot to do with it. Having a
Mhm.
strong relationship with God, and having God as my anchor definitely helps. Of course, there's times where I feel like I'm doing things the right way. I'm doing things to honor God. I'm doing things from a place of integrity, and I'm not seeing the results that I think that I should be seeing, right? And then you see other people who may not be like, operating from a place of alignment, integrity, whatever the case is. And you kind of feel like, okay, like, should I be doing what they're doing? And it's very important just to be like really grounded in who you are, right? And for me, like one of the things that I've definitely learned through this journey is like actually who I am, and aligning myself with God, and anchoring myself from a place of operating from integrity, and understanding that this is my journey, and my journey has its ups and downs and everything in between, but it's okay because this is my journey, and this is my journey, and I have to own that, right? And that helps a lot so that I don't get distracted and focus on what other people are doing, because the time you spend focusing or thinking about what other people are doing, you could be investing that time into your own growth, into your own direction, and what it is that you want. So that's definitely been helpful as well.
Yes, yes. You hit on something so keen, is sometimes when you are out here and you are in a position where either you walked off of your job or life happened and your job walked off of you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we would think like, oh, they let me go, like it was a divine intervention to push you into purpose. But you make me think about my own journey and learning myself, building myself in a different way. And one of the great things that I think that entrepreneurship provides, if you are tapped in with the Lord, it is the ability to be able to really refine and understand like God's ways and God's um, design for you. Right. And so sometimes the thing that keeps me going when times are tough is the fact that I know if I don't go out there and I don't show up, then people are not going to get the thing that they were supposed to get because of whatever the thing is that I'm dealing with. And right now I'm thinking about that Bible verse that says, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but I've given you the spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind. And the reason why we don't go out there is because of fear. And so just overcoming that has been a huge thing. And just walking in a place where it's just like, oh, I got this now. Um,
Right.
and getting over it because
Continual. And it's continual, right? It's not like you get to this like milestone and then it's like, yes, I'm healed and I have no more fear, right? It's like this is something that you're going to be navigating in different seasons of your life, right? So it's also important to highlight that as well. Give yourself grace.
yes, give yourself grace. That is so important, especially because, like, if life starts lifing and your value system is like, well, I used to do X, this is just me, y'all. Y'all know I'm going to be transparent. Gonna be transparent, right? Because like you will be like, I used to do X, Y, and Z. What happened is just like you are in unknown territory. You are having to do X, Y, and Z. And I think sometimes we don't even talk about the weight of what it means to be a solopreneur and have to be the chief everything officer. How have you managed that in the season when you were a solopreneur?
I mean, it's okay to ask for help, and then that's something that I've learned. There's, sometimes just putting aside a budget and saying, I'm going to go to a freelance website. My budget's $500. I'm going to see if I can get someone to do two of these tasks or three of these tasks so that I have one less or two less things to actually worry about. And that also like frees up so much time for you to be able to focus on the things that are actually going to drive your business further and to move the needle and for you to be able to increase your visibility. And that visibility, of course, is tied directly to the impact it is that you're going to have in the marketplace. So it's okay to ask for help. And that's something that I'm consistently working on. It's like, okay, well, and even if there's something that you know you need to do, and you can do it, but you feel a bit resistant doing it, it's okay to outsource that as well. So having people who I can outsource things to has definitely been really, really valuable to me. And it's helped me to stay on track and focus on the things that are the most impactful.
No, that's really good. And I think about for the folks who may be corporate heroes or just working some sort of 9 to 5 and how this is even applicable to them. And I would just say, all of these skills are transferable. And most people are at a place where they like want to go further in their career. And so you have to still manage fear, right?
Right.
You have to still know how to ask for help. You have to still know how to delegate and do all of these things. And so these are things that help us in both areas of life. And so I want people to like really lean into some of the keys that are being shared here. And so now let's talk about this thing called messaging because most people have not even heard of messaging. So like, what is it? Why is it even important?
So messaging is anything that you're saying to a group of people to get their attention, pique their interest, whatever it is that you're communicating to speak to their desire, and also what it is that you're saying to get them to take action as well, right? This is very important because getting people's attention is very, very vital for you to be able to continue to have a conversation about something that they want and being able to consistently have touch points where you're speaking to what they want, what it is that they desire, what challenges they're experiencing. So being able to master messaging is going to be absolutely important, regardless of where it is that you are in your entrepreneurial journey. Just really thinking about having that impact, and then of course that impact will lead to like the revenue that you want to have. So it's important for you to understand that you have to communicate to people, and you have to do it in a way that makes it easy for them to digest what you're saying, but also be very, very clear as to what's in it for those people as well.
That is really important. So every leader should
Mhm.
master messaging.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every single leader should master messaging.
Right.
And so, what are the things that leaders make mistakes on when it comes to messaging?
And this is something that I've experienced, and something that I've kind of, at some point struggled with is because you're so smart, right? A lot of us are really smart, right? And we use words and language that we understand, but for the average person, they may not, like, it might not be digestible, it might be vague, it may confuse them because they're like, okay, so what is this really? And confusing people is the for sure way to turn people off, and then you're not able to have the interaction with that person. So it's very important for you to ensure that you're very, very clear. Sometimes if it even means leveraging AI to like make sure that this is absolutely clear, that someone who is 18 years old can understand this, right? So ensuring that you're being very, very clear with what it is that you're saying is going to be important, and don't overcomplicate it. Like, be as simple as possible. Like, that is the for sure way to really create a connection with people and then take them down that pathway to purchase.
That is very, 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 very important. Like you just said, we do not want to confuse people.
Right.
And then we have to get out of our own head and our own way of communication and think about the people that we are communicating with if we want to get our message across. And so we have a message every time we show up, right?
Right, right, right,
Okay, so if we're showing up on stage, there's a message. If we're showing up on social media, there's a message. If we're showing up on our website is sending messages all throughout.
right,
And we all have to make sure one, we're not being confusing because she just gave us a blueprint here, and
right.
two, that it's clear and concise, and three, don't overcomplicate it with words and things and all the minutia of like whatever is in your head. And so since you've been out here for 10 years, a whole decade, what mistakes have you seen around messaging?
Well, of course, not being clear. And then I would say, even linking it back to understanding what value and what solution it is that you're bringing to the marketplace.
Mhm.
If you don't understand the outcome, if you're not very clear as to like what the benefits are and what's in it for them, at the end of the day, if you're creating content,
Mm.
if you are on stage, if you're on a podcast, you're on social media, always ask yourself before you even start creating, what's in it for the person who's on the other side of receiving this message, right? Getting very, very clear as to what's in it for them, that should be your anchor and your directive as to how it is that you show up, what kind of message it is that you're creating, and ensuring that you're providing something that's valuable to people who actually this is divinely aligned with who they are and what it is that they need in the season of their lives.
No, that's really good. And I think about the fact that like I often have to tell business owners that or budding business owners, it's like it's not about you anymore.
Right, right,
Right? Like you have to let go of like, this is how I do it. This is what I want. And you are out here to, and I think for I like to say faith-based business owners, we are out here to impact change,
right,
and we are out here on assignment. And so, being out here on assignment and doing these different things means that we have to operate with a different caliber. And so, in my Unleash Your God idea webinar that I run, I talk to people about your idea in your line of business is not your idea. It's God's idea that He actually wants to bring into earth, where He wants to use you to impact a certain sect of people. And so you always need to be in counsel about what is that impact. And I think that will help too to, really fine tune your why so that you can be more compelled about your own message. And for me, one of the things that I found that kind of like really helped me get out of my own way was the fact that like I wasn't doing this for me anymore.
right,
Go
right.
ahead. Like I felt like you felt that.
Yes, like it's not, yeah, and I think it's important for us to understand that, like, if we're giving other people what it is that they want, we in return are going to get something that we want, right? So it's not about you, it's about what's in it for them and leading from that place wholeheartedly. and not overcomplicating it as well, right? Just think about, okay, what's in it for this person? What is this person going to walk away from? Keep it absolutely simple, easy to digest, and make it actionable as well. It's important to make it actionable. Like whatever it is that you're saying, lead people to a place where they're empowered to take action. That's also very important as well.
Yes, don't just be a motivation fest. Yep, I said it. But it's so many places where you just want to motivate, 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 and you charge people hundreds and thousands of dollars for motivation. Like, no, go on
Right,
YouTube and watch Eric Thomas and
right,
get your motivation, right?
right.
We need strategies for implementation so that we can take action. So we started with something that could be taboo for some people. And I know many people have always had a question around what is a freaking funnel? Like, I don't get it. Like, calm down, calm down.
It's not complicated. I promise. I promise. I promise. So just think of your funnel as the pathway to purchase, right? So from the first time someone becomes aware of your brand to the first time that they purchase, because we want to have people become repeat clients and customers of our business. So I always suggest to like people who are just building out their sales funnel for the very first time, think about the very first time someone hears about your brand to the first time that they purchase. And of course, a high converting sales funnel continues to nurture people post purchase. But at the very least, ensure that you have a very clear pathway to purchase. And then in between that, you want to ensure that you're having touch points that it's going to meet people exactly where it is that they are. So think of your sales funnel as like your customer journey, and that's ultimately what your sales funnel should reflect.
Okay, so I'm going to be the people for the people. So my sales funnel is just not a ClickFunnels page.
No, no, that's one component. That's one component of your funnel, right? So there's levels. There's definitely levels to it. So look at it in three segments. So you have the top of your funnel, the middle of your funnel, and the bottom of your funnel. So the top of the funnel is where they're first hearing about your brand. So maybe they come across your post on social media or they've seen you do an interview somewhere, right? And then the middle of the funnel is where they're like, okay, I want to learn more. So this is where they go to your website. Maybe they sign up for your opt-in, whatever the case is. And as they're navigating that gift or these touch points that you have, they're in the middle of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel is where they're thinking, okay, you know what? I think this person, I align with this person. There's a connection. I feel like this person can help me. And this is the point where they're either like reaching out to you for your services or wanting to learn more about whatever it is that you have to offer, whether it's a product or service, whatever the case is. And then them making a decision as to whether or not they're going to buy now or in the future or not at all. Right. So just think of your sales funnel through those three segments: the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. And that will allow for you to create that structure. But a landing page is only one part of your funnel, right? It's not the whole flow of your funnel. A lot of the things that are going to happen in your funnel is going to generally happen if you're using text message marketing or if it is that you're using email marketing. All the touch points that you're going to have, the value that you're going to provide is going to happen there. And it's also important for you to know that when someone comes into your funnel, you want to tag them. Like you want to have a way to track them, like going back to what I was talking about earlier about the data, right? You want to ensure that you are tagging people based off of where it is that they're coming into your funnel, and that will allow for you to be able to better serve those people, provide more personalized content and information that's going to ultimately take them down to that through that transformation that they're looking for.
Okay. Okay. So this all aligns and goes back to the message, right?
Right.
And so how you're displaying that message determines how far people will go in the customer journey
Right.
and if they will even get to that landing page, ClickFunnels page,
Mhm.
Stampart page, whatever page it is. And so it goes back to like really investing in you and then investing in the knowledge of the people that you serve. And again, like somebody is like, well, I'm a corporate hero. What do I need to know about a funnel for? You never know where you may end up in life. But the
Right.
key here is you are your own funnel, right?
Right.
And
Right.
are you using you properly? Are you messaging you properly to promote you to the next level,
Right.
right? And that could be even for me. I know a lot of people are in ministry that listen to me. Are you messaging yourself right to even be in a place of favor? Right? Because when people purchase from you, it's because they found favor or something special about you. And if we're all going to grow and go to different spaces in life, it takes other people. And so when we are not clear on our purpose, when we are not clear on our message, we limit the ability of favor that we have. And
Mm.
kind of like thinking through this for 10 years, like, how have you navigated networking and building out your network?
That's a good question. And as a very much an introvert, like this has been like something that in different seasons of my life I've leaned in, and some seasons I'm like, okay, I'm going to back off a little bit. Leveraging social media is really great. There's also power in going to different events, right, and being very selective as to what events you're going to as well, right? You can't go to everyone. Being very intentional about who it is that you're connecting with as well, and maintaining those connections. So it's good to leverage, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's really great. Like that's been a very good place to connect with other people who are doing similar work like myself, or people who are potential clients, or people who you can collaborate with. So LinkedIn is really great. I think a lot of people kind of steer away from it because they think it's stuffy. Whatever the case is, I definitely believe in tapping into LinkedIn. And then going to conferences, going to events that you could potentially just meet the right kinds of people. And it's okay to reach out to people on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm coming to your city. Maybe you've been following their content on social. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm coming to your city. I'd love to connect. Like, ask, right, like there's nothing wrong with asking. If they say, well, maybe not right now, or whatever the case is, that's fine. But you're putting yourself out there, and that's how you're going to be able to connect with the right kinds of people. So definitely leverage social media. As an introvert, I definitely use social media more so than going out to events. But I do believe that there's value to be given and to receive when you do go out in person to different events and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, we met on a virtual event, right?
Right, right,
So even doing virtual events can work. And we met through the power of my message.
right, right.
Me being clear on me and me being clear on my message. And so again, you have to get this locked in. And I don't care what sector you are in. I don't care if you do not have a business. You want to have your message clear, because you don't know that time when you will get on the elevator with X, Y, and Z, and they ask you that pertinent question, and the relationship that could be formed that could lift you to your next level. All it takes is one right person.
Right, 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 right. And be open, be open, be open as well. Be open. You just never know, right? You never know when an opportunity is going to align itself. You never know when God's going to just say, here, this is for you, and this is only for you, and you need to take it, right? Because sometimes we ask God for things, but we're not even open to receiving it. So then how are we going to be blessed with it? So there's also that.
Yeah. And I think, these are just some real keys that I think that when you master them, you will see your life start to flourish in a different way, right? Because God wishes for us to be prosperous, right? In
Right.
everything that we do. And we need the right relationships, we need the right connections. And so, this week, I'm daring you, right? Coach Jam is here now. Attorney Jamila is off to the side, but Coach Jam is here. I'm daring you to take a look within and to say to yourself, okay, what am I doing? What do I know about myself? What do I know about my assignment? And
Right.
who I'm called to serve? And then what message do I need to lock into my spirit and into my mind in order to be prepared for the opportunity for next? Ooh, that bless my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
That
Yeah.
really blessed my soul. And
Yes.
so, as you are going into year 11, what advice would you give to year two,
Oh, wow.
Krista?
Um, Stay the course, right? in seasons where it might, like, you might be in a drought, and this is for anyone else who's listening, you're finding yourself, you're in a drought. It doesn't last forever, right? You have to literally push forward even when it's not the thing you want to do, because giving up just seems more desirable, it just seems easier. Push forward, push forward. If you strongly believe that this is what you're called to do, you have to push forward. There's something to learn in every season, and you won't be able to like graduate from that season until you learn it as well. So, yeah.
She just dropped a whole gem on you all. There's something you are supposed to learn in every season. And if you do not learn it in that season, you don't graduate. So some of y'all are held back in some seasons because you didn't learn. That was
Right.
good. That was good. Any final thoughts on unlocking like the potential of a person and their message and all of those things?
Just do it. Literally, just do it. I mean, I believe that if you strongly believe that this is what you're called to do, just do it. I mean, a lot of people have excuses as to why they don't move forward, they don't do things. And I mean, like, I am an immigrant, right? So like, I also have challenges, like, navigating a new country, being almost displaced, so to speak, from family and close connections, and moving to Canada from Jamaica with my family, rebuilding and everything like that, and having to navigate a whole new system, right? So like, I know that, like, you can start over, and it's okay to start over, but just keep moving forward. Even if starting over means just pausing for a second and then moving forward, but just don't give up. Like, really and truly, don't give up on life, because there's times when I think back on times where it would have just been easier to just give up and say, you know what, entrepreneurship sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just gonna go and apply for a job and just try to be satisfied in that. But I know deep in my heart that's not what I'm called to do. So I have to be obedient as well. Being obedient is going to get you into spaces and places of peace, of prosperity, of impact, of influence. But you have to keep moving forward. Don't give up. Don't give up. It's there's so much more that is in store for you. So keep moving forward and don't give up.
Listen, y'all, don't give up and find a way to start. And if
Right.
you're looking for the right place to start, connect with me at iaminlaura.com. I'm always sending out great information and have great freebies for you. And for those of you all that already have established businesses, please make sure that you have done the work to secure your business and its future and your legacy. Because when you don't own any trademarks, when you don't have contracts in your business, you're actually setting yourself up to have that big, like, oh my gosh, it's
Right.
gone wrong and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Let's be proactive in securing all the things that we built rather than reacting to damage and destruction that we could have avoided. Everyone, be more, do more, and believe more on your journey to more. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Bye.